What are those substances that are bitter in taste, that are soapy to touch, that turns red litmus blue and produces hydroxide ions in aqueous solution? These substances are called as the bases. Examples of bases include sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, etc. So unlike acids, bases are bitter in taste, they are soapy to touch, they turn red litmus blue whereas acids turn blue litmus red. They conduct electricity in solution and releases OH minus ions in aqueous solution whereas acids turn H plus ions in aqueous solution. Now you would have noticed that most of the people use the word alkali instead of a base. So do you think alkali is a synonym for a base? Alkali is also a base. It is a base that dissolves in water. It is very important to remember that not all bases are alkalis, but all alkalis are bases. Examples of bases include zinc hydroxide and copper oxide, whereas examples of alkalis include potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Now let's see some of the chemical properties of bases, which includes reactions of bases with various substances. And the first reaction is the reaction of a base with metals. When a base reacts with a metal, you get salt and hydrogen. For example, you react sodium hydroxide with zinc metal, you're going to get a salt which is sodium zincate plus hydrogen gas is evolved. Now the second reaction is the reaction of a base with oxides of nonmetals. Non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. For example, you take carbon dioxide, which is a non-metallic oxide. When carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, carbonic acid is produced, and that's why we say that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. So what will happen if you react a base with a non-metallic oxide which is acidic in nature? It's going to neutralize each other and give rise to salt and water. For example, you react sodium hydroxide with carbon dioxide, you're going to get sodium carbonate plus water. Now the third reaction is the neutralization reaction. In fact, this reaction is also a reaction of the acids. Why? Because here you're going to react an acid with the base and they neutralize each other, giving rise to salt and water. That's why this reaction is also called as neutralization reaction. Let's take a strong acid like HCl and react it with a strong base like NaOH. You will get salt, which is sodium chloride, which is a combination of NaOH and HCl, plus you're going to get water there. So you saw many bases now. What is it that you saw in common in all these bases? It's the hydroxide ions, right? A base dissociates in water to produce hydroxide ions, which is OH minus ions, and this is responsible for the basic behavior of a base. To summarize, we saw the different physical properties of bases, which includes bitter taste, soapy feeling, turns red litmus blue, conducts electricity in solution and releases OH minus ions in aqueous solution. And the chemical reactions of bases includes reactions of bases with metals, with oxides of nonmetals, as well as neutralization reaction. And what was common in all bases? The OH minus ions, also called as the hydroxide ions.